All right, let's get right into it. We're tackling a really fundamental question today in the world of SAP's financial contract accounting, and that is, how does the central master data object, the contract account, actually get created?
Think about it. Before you can post a single charge before a single payment gets processed, there has to be some kind of master plan, a blueprint that controls everything. So what is that crucial piece of the puzzle?
And that, my friends, is the contract account, or CA for short. I love this analogy. It's like the central nervous system for a customer's entire financial life inside the system. It's this one master data object that holds all the keys, the rules for payments, for taxes, for dunning, for correspondence. Basically, it dictates everything that happens next.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll talk about the contract account's big picture role. Then, we'll get into what you need to have in place before you can even think about building one. After that, we'll explore the different ways you can actually create it, look at the nitty-gritty control settings, and then, of course, we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways.
All right, first things first, let's really nail down why this thing is so darn important. Because, it's not just some passive bucket for data. No, it's an active controller. And what's so cool about it is this dual role it plays. On one hand, yeah, it's a central hub, a collection point for all the financial transactions. But on the other hand, it's also the rulebook. It's actively sending out instructions that tell the system how to handle things like dunning, correspondence, and payments. It's doing both jobs at once.
Okay, so you see how this is starting to build up, right? But just like building a house, you can't just start putting up walls. You absolutely have to lay the right foundation first.
And when I say foundation, I mean it. There are 3 things that are totally non-negotiable. Step 1, you got to have a business partner record. Step 2, that partner needs a very specific role assigned to it, the MKK role, which basically flags it as a contract partner. And step 3, that role needs to be valid for, well, a very long time. You miss any one of these, and the whole process is a non-starter. It just won't work.
And that just perfectly sums up the core idea, doesn't it? The business partner is the bedrock. Everything else, the entire contract account structure, is built right on top of it.
So once that foundation is solid, then you get to choose your construction method. And really, there are 2 main paths you can take to build a contract account.
Let's compare these 2 approaches. On one side, you have direct creation. The best way to think about this is like building a custom house right on site. You have all the tools, you're in direct control, you're making it happen right there. On the other side, you've got creation via replication. This is more like using a prefabricated module that was built somewhere else in your company's system landscape and just delivered to be installed. Both get the job done, but in very different ways.
Now, if you go down that direct path, that on-site build, you've got a few tools in your tool belt. You can use the modern Fiori app, which gives you a nice, clean web interface. Or you can use the classic SAP GUI, the traditional desktop client. And for the heavy-duty stuff like mass creation or data migrations, you can use powerful APIs to automate the whole process. Now, that replication path, that's all about integration and consistency. The whole point is to make sure that when someone somewhere else in the business creates a business agreement in, say, a subscription management system, its financial twin, the contract account, is born automatically and, more importantly, correctly.
Okay, so building the structure is one thing, but to actually make it work, you've got to define its core operating parameters. I like to think of this part as installing all the internal wiring and plumbing. The house is built, but now you need to make it livable.
And this is so critical. These parameters that you set at the very beginning have a massive downstream impact. For example, whatever you pick for the dunning procedure right at creation, that's going to define exactly how collection notices are sent for years to come. The payment terms, that locks in how due dates are calculated. These settings literally control the automated financial processes for the entire life of that account.
And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? Getting these settings right is everything, because they are the true foundation of all the financial process automation you get in FICA, Financial Contract Accounting.
All right, let's do a quick recap of everything we've just covered.
If you remember nothing else, remember these 3 things. First, the foundation is always the business partner with that special MKK role, no exceptions. Second, you've got 2 main paths to choose from. Direct creation for hands-on control, or replication for tight system integration. And third, those control parameters you set at the beginning are absolutely critical. They define everything that follows.
And speaking of that integrated approach, this quote just nails it.
It perfectly captures the essence of how replication works, which is something you see all the time in modern SAP setups.
So, we know how the blueprint is drawn up, how the structure gets built. But that leads to an even bigger question, right? How does this one single object, the contract account, go on to command the entire complex life cycle of invoicing, payments, and dunning? That's a story for another day.